Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 3rd, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the ridge building along the west coast of North America here. Upper level low finally starting to kick off across the Rockies and east as we speak here. And we're going to warm things up as we're going to bring some high pressure down here across the Great Basin, kick some offshore winds known as the Santa Ana winds here. It's going to warm things up quite nicely here across much of the state of California, even all the way out towards the coastline. We've also got some tropical cyclone development down here. We've got tropical storm Lydia under development, and it could become a hurricane down here. And we'll watch this over the next few days. Some of the models show it going west and then being bounced back towards the Mexico coastline here. So we'll take a look at that and the weather model runs. We'll also watch for the next storm track to be pointed at the Pacific Northwest. May include some of Northern California here also. We'll take a look at those details as we go through the video. On this day in SoCal weather history, check it out, 1980, some very warm temperatures here, some records. They even showed a weather map here with that high pressure positioned right over Nevada and California. 1987, temperatures soared here thanks to the Santa Ana winds, and that's what's going to be coming here this week. More on that here in a second. You can see National Weather Service Los Angeles talking about hot temperatures Thursday and Friday, 5 to 10 degrees warming each day here, and you're going to feel that all the way out to the coastline. Nice graphic from Los Angeles. This is Las Vegas, the review for September. Just checking things out real quick here. 2.3 degrees below normal. Above average precipitation there, and the warmest day was on September 9th there. Nice graphic. And if you want to save 10% off on a nice affordable home weather station, click on that link down below. Stores all the data for you in the cloud. It's all solar powered. It's all wireless. Got an ultrasonic anemometer. It's very fun to watch the systems roll in when you've got a weather station attached to your home. Santa Ana winds. So check it out. This is the Great Basin back here. You have to imagine you're floating about 40,000 feet above the ocean here and looking off towards Oxnard and Los Angeles, Southern California mountain ranges. That wind flows off the Great Basin. It's coming down from higher terrain and it's compressing and it's warming. And relative humidities are getting lower, and you've got fire conditions, and you can exceed 60 miles per hour through some of the canyons here. If you live in Southern California or anywhere in California, really, you kind of know what the Santa Ana winds are here. So nice diagram here from NOAA. And just remember, these are strong downslope winds here, and these can cause fire conditions here, low relative humidities. And so all it takes is a spark when you've got these Santa Ana winds blowing. This is looking at the ridge of high pressure over the Pacific Ocean. There's California here. There's the state of Hawaii. Put this into motion. Notice this ridge kind of move north, and look at this high pressure set up over the Great Basin. So you can imagine that high pressure wants to flow out towards a relatively lower pressure here over the coastline, and that's what's going to bring those offshore winds and the Santa Ana winds. And this is Tropical Storm Lydia down here, and you can see it bubbling around here as that high pressure moves down across the Rockies and towards Texas there also. And then you can see this thing kind of starts to slow up here, and as this trough might grab it and push it back to the east. More on that here in a moment, though. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but there's the 060 European. You can also see this big trough returning off the coast of the Pacific Northwest, and this could include Northern California. Here we are looking at 925 millibars. So it's about 2,500 feet above the surface. This is that big ridge out here. You can clearly see this clockwise rotation, this ridge of high pressure, and that's going to move inland, and you can kind of see these offshore winds across California there, and that's what's going to warm things up. Compression, warming, low relative humidities, warm temperatures all the way out to the coastline. Now looking a little bit closer here as we go on in through Wednesday tomorrow, you can see these winds by tomorrow morning nice and strong out of the east and the northeast, out of the north across some of the desert areas. You're definitely going to feel the warm up for most locations here as we go on into Thursday, and again probably on Friday shown there. Now, looking at Tropical Storm Lydia, should become a hurricane here, according to the National Hurricane Center here by Friday morning. You can see probably existing on in through this weekend here. And we'll track it because it's got some uncertainty here. It's kind of bouncing around a bit here. And we got to watch to see if any of these remnants are eventually going to move up towards the southwest USA. Now, looking at last night's GFS, kind of an outlier, but something interesting here. You can see Tropical Storm Lydia spinning, moving off to the west, then a trough kind of steers this thing back towards Baja here, moves up Baja and even towards the southwest USA. Kind of an outlier here. Not all models are showing this. I'll show you what the European shows next, but you have to watch this closely because these can be high impact events. This is looking at yesterday afternoon's European run, Tropical Storm Lydia, then hurricane. And then look at this one, another one out here forming off the coastline. Maybe a little Fujiwara effect there as these swing around with each other. But as you can see, it does not swing any of that moisture up into the southwest USA. European says no, it will not get here. Now we're looking at 6-hour 2-meter max temperature. This would be for today. You can see the mid-80s return to the valley areas. The coastal ranges, coastal areas just starting to warm up here. But as we go into tomorrow, temperatures start to bounce back even more. Thursday, nice and warm, some mid and upper 90s for the valley areas. Desert's getting back up towards 100 degrees here, and you're going to feel the warmth all the way out to the coastline. as really up and down much of the coast here of California. Now, this is looking at Los Angeles, and the average temperatures this time of year about what, 77, 76. You're going to be, 10, 11, 12 degrees above average here as you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Might get some 90-degree days there, right out towards the coastline. And you can see San Francisco. Check it out. 3 days there, 85 plus. You might get 90 degrees there on Thursday, and probably 4 days, 80 plus here for San Francisco before maybe they return back down to normal temperatures. We'll watch that and see how that unfolds here as we go day by day. Fresno, California, average temperature this time of year about what, 82, 83 as you get towards the weekend here. So you might be 10, 15 degrees above average into early next week. Here's Las Vegas. Nothing too crazy. I mean, well, if you go to Vegas, you're kind of expecting 90-degree temperatures, aren't you? And you can see the average temperatures this time of year are generally above 80 degrees. Phoenix, you might get a couple 100-degree days there, but nothing like what you were getting this summer, but still above average temperatures. San Jose, nice and warm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days above average here as you go on in through Sunday. 6 to 10-day temperature outlook, continued above average signal here from much of the west. Here's that precipitation outlook. And this is the return of that Gulf of Alaska low, and that storm track may target some of Northern California here as we go on into October 8th through 12th here. We'll continue to watch that because this is going to change, of course. 8 to 14 days still above average for the west as we go through October 16th. And again, it looks like the Pacific Northwest wet. Will it include Northern California? We'll continue to watch that day by day. Now, looking at the European, comparing it versus the GFS. This is yesterday afternoon's on the left. The GFS is on the right. Big ridge of high pressure. There's our upper level low that was with us for a few days. There's Hawaii to the bottom left. Put that into motion. That ridge moves towards the coastline here. You can see Tropical Storm Lydia bubbling around down there. High pressure moves across the Great Basin. We get the Santa Ana winds. And then you can see the return of this storm track here. You can see the European a little bit stronger with that trough off the coastline here. And this would definitely include some of Northern California with some precipitation and maybe even bring a little bit of rain down towards the Bay Area. But we'll see how that trends. You can see pretty good model disagreement there. And then you can see Lydia bounce back towards the coastline. And both models are showing somewhat of some troughing here as we go through next week as well. We'll see how this trends here over the next few runs as well before we start getting caught up in any of that. And this is looking at the GFS ensemble mean. I wanted to show you something here because if we go off into later on into mid-October here, you can kind of see this ridging setting up here and the troughing out over the Pacific Ocean. This is what's known as Pacific North American Oscillation Positive. And you can actually, there's actually a forecast for that. And I'll show you that here in a moment for the European, but you can kind of see that signal showing up for mid-October. That's why the Prediction Center generally has things above average here as we go on in through mid-October. And you can kind of see the signal here. This is classic Pacific North American positive oscillation with the storms out over the Pacific Ocean, ridging over the west portion of the USA, and the European kind of showing us in that positive territory as we move through mid-October. So a little bit of an introduction here for some California folks for Pacific North American oscillation there anyway. But yeah, you can see the big ridge forming offshore. Here goes Tropical Storm Lydia down here, and we'll watch that to see what it does, see if there's any chance of that bouncing back up towards the southwest USA. We'll watch that storm track start to point towards Pacific Northwest and maybe Northern California again. And of course, we'll watch the Santa Ana winds here over the next few days as well as we're going to warm up quite nicely. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking the new channel. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you can subscribe to this one. I'll put these videos on both the Pacific Northwest Weather Watch page and the California Weather Watch page for the next month or so, and then I'll make the full transition and I'll just separate the daily briefings on those channels. I'll try to put educational videos on both channels as well, and hopefully I can get the word out to more people in California and educate more people on what's going on with the weather, because I know sometimes the algorithm, people are searching for weather in California and they're getting Pacific Northwest Weather Watch and they might not think that has anything to do with California. So obviously maybe that'll help out a little bit. But anyway, thanks to all my members and subscribers. You guys make this channel possible. You help out just by viewing these videos every single day. Yeah, but we'll do this again tomorrow and I will talk to you guys then.